My beloved child, I do not hold back the blessing, but I am waiting to see whether your heart is pure enough to carry it. For an inheritance is not only a reward, it is also a test hidden beneath the light. You think you are ready. But if your heart is still murky, that very blessing will become the most subtle snare, one in which the enemy does not even need to raise a hand. Remember the story of King Solomon, the one to whom the Lord gave wisdom, fame, and riches beyond compare. Yet those very blessings, when his heart slowly drifted away from the Lord God, became a blade that turned back on him. He built a temple for the Lord, but later he built altars for foreign gods. Solomon did not fall in the days of hunger and lack. He fell in the day of abundance, when his heart was no longer cleansed day by day. I do not bless you so that you may forget me, but so that you may see clearly without me. Every blessing becomes a sentence of judgment upon the heart that is not ready to receive it. And so before the blessing comes, I must first prepare the vessel. I must shape the clay before I pour in the oil. For what use is a cracked jar, no matter how beautiful on the outside, if it cannot hold what is placed within it? I am the potter and you are the clay. Do not resist the hands that are pressing you, turning you, and sometimes breaking you down to build you up again. The pain you feel in this season is not punishment. It is the pressure of my hands shaping you into something worthy of what I am about to place inside you. There are seasons when I deliberately hide you from the eyes of people. You call it abandonment. But in truth, I am shielding you from jealous eyes that are waiting to devour the very seed of blessing that has just begun to sprout. Those who once were close suddenly step away. Your words seem to lose their weight. And your heart is bewildered. Lord, do you still remember me yet? My child, it is in that shadowed place that feels like being forgotten that I am hiding you under the shadow of my wings. So your inheritance can mature instead of being miscarried halfway. If you hastily chase the spotlight before its time, you will burn up the season of preparation I have so carefully arranged for you. There will come a time when I cause some people to leave your life, and you cannot understand why. You weep over losing them. But I breathe a sigh of relief, for there are relationships that are no longer permitted to go any further. I cut them off not because I am cold, but because I see clearly that they would become leaks through which your blessing is drained. They rejoiced when you were small, but grew uncomfortable when you began to grow in me. They were silent when you were wounded, yet quick to speak when there was a chance to slander. The tighter you hold on to them, the slower you become. For there are victories reserved only for those who dare to accept the loss of certain people. When every prayer has dried on your lips, when my silence stretches so long that your soul feels lost, that is the moment the test is being raised to a new level. You ask, Lord, why don't you speak? And I whisper back, I am examining whether you will still trust me when you no longer feel anything at all. For great blessings always come with great trials. The enemy is not troubled when you lack. It trembles when you remain faithful while you still see nothing. Do not give up too quickly. For many lose their inheritance, not because they lack anointing, but because they abandon their post in the last 5 minutes before the blessing is released. My child, there are seasons when I choose to be silent so that you feel as if you have been left floating in a vast emptiness. You pray but hear no answer. You knock but no door seems to open. You look around and no hand reaches out to you. Your heart closes in and your soul begins to crack, thinking that I no longer care. Yet in that very moment, I am quietly covering you in a hidden mist because the blessing I have appointed for you is drawing near. The enemy is frantically searching for ways to destroy it. If I do not hide you, you will be exposed to the jealous rage of demons and the prying gaze of people. As the scriptures say, whoever dwells in the secret place of the Most High will always be sheltered under the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91 verse 1. You are not abandoned. You are being hidden by me. I know that in the season of hiddenness, your heart is easily wounded. You see those who were once close slowly drift away. Your words suddenly seem to lose their meaning. And every door appears to shut in your face. You think you have done something wrong, that I am punishing you. But my child, this is not punishment. It is protection.
There are people who are no longer allowed to hear what I am about to speak into your heart because their lips are not pure enough to keep heavenly secrets. There are places where you are no longer permitted to remain because the soil there is no longer clean enough to nourish the seed I have sown in you. I cut things off not because you are lacking, but because the blessing is coming too close, and I must keep you out of reach of envious souls. Understand this, my beloved. When I hide you, I do not hide you to forget you, but to grow you. I do not want you to become someone dependent on the gaze, the praise, or the approval of the world. For one destined to carry a heavenly inheritance cannot live off the fragile applause of men. If you constantly crave recognition, you will not withstand it when I place you where no one understands you. I am teaching you the value of silence. The place where my voice resounds most clearly. Only when no one stands beside you will you truly hear my footsteps walking with you. There is a truth few are willing to accept. Before I lift someone up, I always lead that person into a hidden place. Just as Moses was placed by me in the cleft of the rock when my glory passed by, so that he might survive the weight of divine splendor, as written in Exodus 33 verse 22. You too are in that cleft of the rock. It is dark and narrow, yet safe. You see only the backside of events, while I am doing what no one else knows. Your loneliness is not the mark of failure, but the sign of birth. Everything great in my kingdom is conceived in stillness. Be patient, for I am working on the deepest parts within you, the parts that the public light is not yet ready to see. If you continue to look at everything through the eyes of the flesh, you will easily come to the wrong conclusion that God has left you. And in that moment, you will step out of the refuge I prepared for you and run into the open field where the enemy is waiting. Many have done this. They stepped out before the appointed time only to be crushed by the very blessing they had prayed for. You must understand, hiddenness is not exclusion. It is the process I use to safeguard the most precious thing being formed in you. When I have not yet allowed you to shine, it is not because you are unworthy, but because I am waiting for the light within you to grow strong enough not to be swallowed by the light around you. I know you are weary, for you have waited so long and still see no change. You look around and everyone else seems to have doors opening for them while you remain outside knocking again and again. But my child, I have no need for you to knock on someone else's door when I myself am building a new door meant only for you. You think you have been abandoned. But in truth, I am separating you from the crowd so that you will not be dissolved into it. I am teaching you to lean on me, not on noise, not on numbers. For you are chosen to build, not merely to blend in. A carrier of heavenly inheritance cannot be trained in the roar of applause, but only in solitude and tears. Remember David, the little shepherd boy forgotten out in the fields while his brothers were invited to the feast with the prophet Samuel. Yet in the very moment he was forgotten by men, I called his name. When others thought he was unqualified, I had already seen in him a heart humble enough to be king. So it is with you today. Not because you are exalted, but because you are hidden, that the blessing is preserved. Do not fear the darkness, for I am there. Do not fear being forgotten, for I am remembering you more than ever. As long as you keep your heart at peace in that secret place, I know exactly when to open the door. And when that door opens, no one will be able to shut it. I do not want you to collapse right before the finish line. When you feel most alone, that is when I am closest. I do not want you to see only isolation. I want you to see the cloak of protection wrapped around you. I do not want you to hear only the silence. I want you to hear my whisper within that silence. Rest in me. For when your heart is at rest, you will hear the heartbeat of my will. And when you realize that being hidden is not being forsaken, you will stop complaining and begin to give thanks. I am teaching you a lesson reserved only for the chosen. How to remain still in the dark when everything in you longs for the light. If you learn this, you will no longer tremble at silence, nor be anxious when others move ahead of you. For you will know that true blessing never arrives early. It comes at the exact moment you are strong enough to hold it. As I have promised through the prophet Jeremiah, for I know the plans I have for you, plans of peace and not of harm, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. And that future, my child, is drawing closer than you think. But before your inheritance is released, I must cleanse your heart of fear and doubt. I need you to learn to be silent yet still believe, to be hidden yet still rejoice, to see nothing yet remain faithful. For only hearts refined in hiddenness are strong enough to keep the blessing without letting the blessing destroy them.
My beloved child, there are things I must take away. Not because I desire you to lose, but because I desire to rescue what remains in you. Often you cannot see it. But the people you are desperately clinging to are the very ropes tightening around your soul. I know you love them. I know you have wept over them. But my child, if I do not cut them away, you will slowly die in pity. When I allow someone to leave your life, do not see it as betrayal. See it as heaven's intervention. There are people who are only permitted to write one chapter in your story, not the entire book. If you insist on keeping them, you are rewriting a story whose ending I myself have already ordained. Do you remember Abraham and Lot? When I called Abraham to leave his father's house and homeland, I never told him to bring Lot along. But Abraham loved his nephew and thought that holding on to a little familiarity would do no harm. And then in the midst of lush pastureland, Lot and Abraham parted ways in bitterness. For when you walk with the wrong person, the blessing becomes a burden. Many times the blessing is delayed not because I am slow, but because you are dragging along people whom heaven never called to walk with you. I see in your heart the fear of losing people. You are afraid of being alone, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid that others will think you are cold. But my child, if you let your emotions drive you, you will never walk in the path I have set for you. There are people who were happy when you were weak but became uncomfortable when you started to stand up. There are people who stayed silent when you were misunderstood, but were quick to speak when there was something negative to say about you. They do not truly hate you. They simply cannot bear the light in you that is growing. The light is not at fault. But darkness will always resist whenever it is exposed. Do not blame them. Rather, thank me that I have shown you who is true and who is false before you step into a new season. You often ask, why does the Lord allow me to lose the people I love? And I still whisper in your heart, it is because I want you to be free. Every person I cut away is not a punishment, but a cleansing. If you keep relationships that feed only on emotions, you will drag them with you through a door I have never opened for them. That door is for you, not for the crowd. You cannot take everyone up the same mountain. Because at the summit there is not enough room for the whole group. Just as Jesus, when he went into the Garden of Gethsemane, took only 3 close disciples with him. And when he drew near to the deepest place of prayer, he himself went on alone. There are stretches of the journey where no one is allowed to walk with you, no matter how much you love them. I want you to learn a lesson that few understand. True love does not always mean holding on. Sometimes it is knowing when to let go. You are not losing them. You are placing them back into my hands. You are not pushing them away. You are returning them to where they belong. When I sign the order to cut something off, it is because I see in advance what you cannot yet see. You see them as kind and loyal, but I see the fractures in their heart that, if you stay too close, will cause you to break with them. I know there are promises between you and them. But I also know that my word matters more. A covenant bound only by human emotion will never outlast a promise that has been written in the blood of the Lamb. I want you to look back at yourself. Why do you keep holding on to people who are no longer walking the same road? Is it because you are afraid that no one will understand you? Or because you have not truly believed that I am enough to fill every empty space? When you try to tie back together the cords I have already cut, you are making yourself an enemy of my work. You say you just want peace, but in truth you are afraid of losing control. Understand this. Love does not mean attachment. When I tell you to love, I do not tell you that you must keep. Do you know what happens when you cling to relationships I have already stamped as finished? The blessing begins to be contaminated. Spiritual secrets are shared with the wrong people. Words you speak in sincerity are twisted into weapons used against you. The enemy does not need to attack you from the outside. It only needs to use those close to you to slowly drain your strength and your faith. I have seen so many people fall, not because of great battles, but because they could not bring themselves to let go of those who once laughed with them in the past. You must never forget. There are faces that were a blessing in the old season but become a hindrance in the new. I am purifying the circle around you. Not so that you would lose, but so that you would overcome. Not so that you would be lonely, but so that you would not be deceived. There are people who come into your life only to help you see your own lessons. When they leave, the lesson remains. I want you to remember. You may love anyone. But never let that affection grow bigger than my voice. If I tell you to let go, do not ask why. Because sometimes the answer is revealed only after the tears. And if you still do not understand, look again at Abraham. Only after he and Lot parted did I speak. Lift up your eyes and look. All the land that you see, I give to you and to your descendants. Genesis 13 verses 14 to 15. Blessing was released only after the bonds had been loosened. Do not be afraid of the empty spaces. I do not take away to leave you empty. I take away to make you clean. Wherever you are willing to lose, there I will place true blessing. Wherever you are willing to hurt, there I will make all things new. But if you insist on holding on to what is already dead, I cannot pour living blessing into you. I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. When you have learned how to let go, you will taste a strange, unshakable peace. You will no longer weep over those who leave, but will give thanks that I let their true face be revealed early. You will begin to discern who is truly called to walk with you and who has only been feeding off the blessings on your life. You will learn to choose silence instead of arguments, to choose prayer instead of complaint, because you know that I am clearing the table to prepare a new feast. I tell you this so your heart may rest. No loss in me is ever meaningless. Every person I remove is a weight you no longer need to carry. Every door I close is a wrong road you will not have to pay for. Every tear that falls when you release is a seed I am watering for the next season. So do not regret, do not panic, do not try to go back. You do not need old relationships to be complete. You only need me, the one who never changes. And when your heart has become light, you will hear me more clearly. For true blessing never comes with noise and chaos. It visits the hearts that have been cleansed of bondage and jealousy. The more you learn to let go, the closer blessing draws near. And in that stillness, you will begin to realize, I am not only teaching you to release people. I am teaching you to release your own ego, so that you may be humble enough to keep what I am about to entrust to you in the new season. My beloved child, one of the most subtle traps the enemy sets is to make you think that my silence is proof that I am doing nothing. It whispers, God has forgotten you. Maybe that promise was just your imagination. And then your heart begins to waver. Your faith starts to crack bit by bit, like a small lamp whose oil is running out. But I say this to you. My silence never means my absence. When you do not see me moving, that is when I am arranging all things in depths your eyes cannot reach. Like a seed buried in the soil, no one sees it sprouting. Yet in the darkness, it is growing. I know you are tired of waiting. Waiting for the promise to be fulfilled. Waiting for the door to open. Waiting for what I have spoken to become reality. With each passing day, your heart feels weaker. And you begin to ask yourself, maybe I misunderstood God's will. But my child, you are not wrong. You are simply walking through the hardest part of the test. Every promise of mine must pass through the fire of time so that faith may be refined like pure gold. If I gave you the blessing the moment you asked, you would never learn how to keep it. Waiting is not delay. Waiting is the process by which I raise your faith to a higher level. As Scripture says, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. Hebrews 11 verse 1. And it is precisely when you see nothing that true faith is born. I see every night when you want to give up. You kneel to pray and rise again with a heart full of doubt. You think, maybe I am not good enough. Or maybe God reserved that for someone else. But my child, I never chose you because you were good enough. I chose you because I wanted to reveal my kindness through you. What you are waiting for is not a reward for perfection, but the fruit of faithfulness. I am teaching you a kind of faith that does not rest on outcomes, but on relationship. When you are still chasing results, you will be anxious. When you are only seeking me, you will be at peace. For if you have me, you never truly lack anything. Many think that faith is standing firm in the midst of a great storm. But true faith is remaining on your knees even when you have no strength left. When you are exhausted and still believe, that is when heaven is signing decrees on your behalf. I am not silent just to test you. I am silent to position you. That silence is a test of love. Will you remain when there is no more comfort? When all signs disappear and only my word remains, will you still hold fast, my child? Do not fear the silence. Fear losing your faith in the waiting. For if you give up in the final minute, you will never know what was waiting just beyond it. I have seen it happen so many times. A heart that endured 10 years of waiting, only to walk away in the 11th hour, one step before the door swung open. Do not let that be your story. Hold on. Not because you can see what I am doing, but because you know who I am. My beloved child, I want you to understand something about this season that you are in. It may look like the end. But I tell you, it is only the beginning of what I have been quietly building. Every night you cried without knowing why, I was collecting those tears. Every morning you woke up and chose to believe again despite the emptiness, I was counting that as worship. Every time you said yes to me when everything around you said no, you were writing another line in the story I have ordained for you before you were even formed in the womb. Do not despise the small beginnings. Do not be ashamed of the humble season. For it is in the small that I am proving you faithful, so that I may trust you with the great. The servant who was faithful with a few things was the one I placed over many things. I did not promote the one who was impressive in front of crowds. I promoted the one who was faithful in the quiet, when no one was watching. That is you, my child. I have been watching. And I have seen your faithfulness in the hidden place. There is coming a moment, and it is closer than you think, when every closed door will suddenly make sense. When every loss will reveal itself as a gain. When every delay will show itself as divine protection. You will look back and say, I did not understand then. But now I see. And in that moment, you will not wish you had rushed. You will be grateful that I held you back until the fullness of time. Because everything I give you in the right season, you will be able to keep. But what you seize before the time is right, will slip through your fingers like water. So my child, rest. Not the rest of giving up, but the rest of trusting. The rest of one who knows their provider. The rest of a child who lies down in the arms of a father who never sleeps and never fails. I am holding everything together on your behalf. I am working behind the veil of your circumstances, rearranging, repositioning, and aligning things in your favor. Not one detail has escaped my attention. Not one prayer has fallen unheard to the ground. This is not the time to panic. This is the time to praise. For praise is the language of those who believe before they see. It is the act of trust that confounds the enemy and shakes the heavens open. When Job was surrounded by loss, when the night was darkest, when friends became accusers, he still said, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. That is the quality of faith I am building in you. Not a faith that only rises when conditions are favorable. But a faith that stands firm in the storm, that worships in the wilderness, that believes in the waiting. And when I finally release what I have been preparing, it will come all at once. Suddenly. Like a door that opens without warning. Like a sunrise that comes after the longest night. You will not have time to announce it. Others will simply notice that something has changed in you. A new grace. A new weight. A new authority in your words. Because you will have been through the fire and not been burned. You will have passed through the waters and not been drowned. And the blessing that comes to you then will have your name written on it, not just in ink, but in the eternal purposes of the one who created you. My beloved child, I am not finished with you. I am not done speaking. I am not done moving. I am only waiting for the right moment, which is always a perfect moment, to reveal what I have been doing all along. So hold on. Keep believing. Keep praying. Keep praising. And trust that I, who began a good work in you, will be faithful to complete it, until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1 verse 6. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not a failure. You are mine. And I never let go of what belongs to me. Rest now, my child. For tomorrow belongs to those who believe today. And your tomorrow is very, very close.